Alrighty, moving right along with our tutorial series on this tiny house. I'm going to do the next floor here and maybe even the roof. So we have our first floor, our first finished ceiling, first floor ceiling, and now it's time to make the second floor. So I'm going to go to, I keep using the east one. It doesn't really matter which one you have. I'm going to use that create similar tool again. I'm going to click on this level, click create similar, and I'm just going to put this somewhere. Now this floor I'm going to use just like the last one. I'm actually going to duplicate the last one and take out that sill plate that we made as part of this floor. Even though it's just on the edge, and we probably should have done a different floor, blah blah blah. Anyways, let's look at this one. So I'm going to name this for second floor. Now before I change this to whatever it needs to be, I might as well just go in and make the floor first. So let's go to architecture. It's probably going to make us put this be on the second floor. So let's go to the second floor first, and we might as well change our underlay. So I'm going to do first finish. No, we have to do first floor. Apply. There we go. Now we can see the walls from the first floor, which is what we want. And let's go ahead and click on floor. We'll actually do this backwards. It should be it's not really backwards, but it's gonna work. Alright, so floor, first floor, go ahead and click edit type, then click duplicate, and I'm gonna call this second floor. Second floor, and this will change once I look at this thing. Alright, so go to structure. We don't need this bottom sill plate anymore, so I'm just gonna delete that. Everything else is pretty much the same. So if we look over here, now we see that our total thickness is 10 inches, which is a nice number to work with. And oh, by the way, if you ever click on this little preview, it actually shows you your layers and kind of a section view of what this thing is going to look like. So you can see that. You can actually do some other things with it, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I don't need to see the preview anymore. And go ahead and click OK again. Now, I'm going to use the rectangle tool this time and just draw a rectangle on the outside like so. So there's our second floor. We're on second floor. I'm going to hit the checkbox. And if we go to 3D, I always like to go to 3D just to check. You can see it's off that level that I just randomly threw. And you can see the problem with that, obviously. It's not sitting on the right floor, so let's go back to our east elevation. And since I know that this floor is actually 10 inches, and I need to change that name, I'll do that in a second. I'm just going to go right over here and say, alright, this needs to be 10 inches. Bam. There we go. Alright, now again, it does this big nice mess, so I'm going to click over here so I grab the right one. Then I'm going to click the elbow, drag up that dot, drag up this dot way over here, and there we go. So now we got our second floor. All good. Now, so let's go ahead and click on the floor, and you can do this in any view. You click on it here. I'm going to say edit type, and I'm going to rename this since it's not 11.5 inches. It's going to be 10 inches. Our second floor is 10 inches. And just like before, let's go ahead and add that next level. I'm gonna have an 8-foot ceiling, so I'm gonna go to 8 feet, and this one I'm gonna visually do it. Right there, it says 8. Just go straight across. Again, like before, and this kind of gets, this gets a little messy here, but there we go. Bring this down a little bit. or even bring this in and bring that one out, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But we have level 6, and we're going to call this 05 second floor ceiling. There we go. Jump onto our second floor ceiling and go into our underlay. Make sure this is on second floor. Actually, I think I might still have to go all the way back there. There we go. All we really need is the outline. Alright, now let's go ahead and grab our wall. It's going to be the same wall as before. I'm trying to do this a little bit different ways just so you can see what to do. Right now, height unconnected 8 feet. It's unconnected because I haven't selected this one. Oh, I'm on the wrong floor. See that? That's actually a good little thing here. So you can see I'm on the ceiling. I'm on the ceiling and I just try to put down a wall. And then I clicked on the ceiling. Well, I'm on the ceiling and I want the wall to go to ceiling. That's a height of 0. So that's not going to work. So sometimes you get these and it'll say the top of the wall is lower than the base. Yeah, that makes sense. So I need to jump back over to second floor. Here we go. This is where I want to be. Now I'm going to grab my wall. Height. There we go. See? No error. And it locks out, which tells me the distance. Same thing. And this time, instead of drawing it, let's try a new tool, the Pick Lines tool. So I'm going to pick this line. And notice the dashed line. Watch what happens when you click on that. Now make sure the dash line is on the inside edge. Because this thing has thickness, it doesn't really know where you want to be. So make sure that if it's on the outside, it's actually going to throw it on the outside. And then if you do that, it's going to be floating in the air. Nobody wants that. Alright, so beautiful. Look at our house. It's getting there. Alright, so remember that this is a foundation. So like the ground's right here, which we're going to get to. And all this stuff is underground. So don't think like, whoa, why is this house so big? It's really not. Alright, so same thing. Let's go into our east elevation, and this is basically the ceiling. Because the roof's going to be right on top of this, so there's no third floor. So I'm going to click on here. I'm going to say create similar. Just want to start it over there, make it look pretty. And now there are ceilings in Revit. And most of the time you can see with this little preview, it's for office buildings, drop-down ceilings, things like that you're going to host lights to and all sorts of fun stuff. But what I like to do is just use the floor, because this is technically the same structure, kind of. It's going to be a little bit smaller, but it's basically going to be the same thing. Alright. So, as you can see, we're getting a little cramped here. I'm going to put this over here. And even though I'm going to add an elbow to this, and we're actually going to go down. There we go. Alright, so this is going to be 06, and we'll call it... let's just call it roof. Sounds good to me. Alright, now the thickness here, we're going to make another floor for this to act as our roof, and there's actually going to be a roof on top of that. But let's go back to our floor. So let's jump onto our roof level. Can't see anything. Same thing. Go to properties, underlay. I'm going to grab the second floor this time. Hit apply. There it is. I'm going to zoom in. And now I'm going to click on floor. Here's my second floor. I'm going to go ahead and click edit type. So I paused the video there for a second because I realized I made a bit of a mistake, or I forgot something, and that's okay. I'm going to show you what I forgot right now, but it's going to also give us an opportunity to see the ability of Revit and how easy it is to fix things like this. So I'll show you that mistake in a second. So this is second floor. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this. I'm going to call this second floor ceiling, even though it's not a ceiling. And then this number is going to change to something, so I'm just going to leave it blank right now. And let's go into the structure. So this is not going to have this sheathing, so I'm going to delete that. Oops, not down, delete. There we go. And this softwood lumber, probably don't need 2x10s. Let's go ahead and put in some 2x8s, which is going to be 7 1/4. So put that at 7 1/4. But what I forgot on the last floor was to put drywall on the bottom of it, so you have drywall in your house. And even though it doesn't technically go out to the edge and all that, we could make a model or something. But let's go ahead and just add it on this floor. So we can do insert, down, and say substrate or finish. Let's do it since it's actually a finish. So wallboard, and we'll do 1/2 inch. It's on the ceiling. Oops. So now we got 7 3/4, and this one's good. So this is going to be our ceiling. So this looks good. Go ahead and click OK. So this is 7 3/4. I'm going to go rename this 7 3/4. Go. And I can go ahead. I'm just going to do the box method with the rectangle. Go ahead and hit that checkbox. Go ahead to your 3D view. There it is. And we can go to one of our other views, like east or something. And so this, I clicked on the view. I'm going to pan over here. This needs to be 7.75 inches. Always make sure you do the inches, and there we go. It's sitting perfectly on there. Now it's time to make the roof. Now this building looks flat, but I'm very skeptical of how they are actually doing that. I think the roof line's actually right here, and they're going to do a hip roof behind that, and then you put these little tiny walls up, and it gives us this illusion that there's an actual, that this is a flat roof. It gives you that nice aesthetic. So you can see right here that this is a downspout, and it's coming right here, which tells us the roof's actually below that, which on the garage, who knows, could be flat, could be not. The whole thing could be flat. I don't know. I'm going to do it differently though, because we have no idea what this is going on here. So what I'm going to do is grab the roof, and I'm going to make a roof just like this. And I don't need this generic 12-inch roof, although it really doesn't matter for this project. So let's just use the 9. We don't need to edit it and give it structure. You guys see how that's done. I'm going to say pick lines. Notice a little bit different than making a floor. You get these things right here, and these are your slopes. So we got a 9/12 slope right now, which is way too steep. And so we can change each one. You can actually, oops, sorry, I still had lines selected on there. You can click on these and change each individual one. You can turn them off, just to show you what happens when you turn them off. So, like, I don't want, oops, see, I clicked that twice. Gotta really hit that escape key a lot. Alright, so I can turn this off and that goes away. And that's another point. Make sure if you draw on top of lines, like watch this, you'll get this error and you can't really tell either that you did it. It's just like AutoCAD, you can't tell if the lines are on top of each other. And you can't finish the geometry. The geometry needs to be complete without any overlapping lines. So just be aware of that. So we're just gonna play around here for a second, and I'm gonna show you what's gonna happen when we turn all the slopes off except one. Notice you get that when you click the checkbox. That's because it's being cut off at that 4-foot range. But if you go to your 3D view, look at that. Isn't that a beauty? Alright, that's not what we want. And we can actually work on it in 3D. You can work on most things in 3D. Some things you can't, but a lot of things you can. And sometimes it's just easier to visualize it too. So I'm going to click on all of these, and I'm going to change the slope. Actually, you got to turn them all on first. And so, let's say you wanted a gable house. You could take these two, turn it off, and you'd get that. But what we want is actually a hip roof, so I'm going to turn them all on. But I'm going to make that slope very, very shallow. I'm going to actually make it 112 for all of them. And yes, you can click all of them. As long as they're all have slopes, you can click all of them all at once and change them. But since I only have 4 lines, I just did it one by one. So there's our roof. It's very, very shallow. But the key is, from a design standpoint, is it's running the water off in 4 different directions. Not like a shed style where we push it all to one side or what have you. So there it is. It's sitting on top of our ceiling. Probably in real life, if this was some sort of rafter or joist system, it would go down like this. And we're actually going to modify this thing right now in just a second. So I'm Control-Zing this back. Probably not the smartest idea. But what we want to do is, again, give that illusion, that creation of our beautiful flat roof. So we're actually going to add another level. Actually, we don't need a level for this. Just do it differently. So let's go ahead and go to roof. And there's our roof. And I'm just going to grab my wall. And instead, I'm going to do unconnected, but instead of 8 feet, I'm going to go all the way down to 3 and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go up 3 feet from wherever I pick, and I'm just going to go all the way around. And I'm going to go back to my 3D view, and there it is. That looks, I don't know, looks alright. It's a little high. I want to knock this down. You can do this by holding down Control, clicking all of these, and you can see unconnected height is right here. So I'm going to bring it down to 2. Alright, for some reason it went down. There we go, 2. Ah, much better. I like that. I like that much better. And my slope's probably really not slopey enough, but that's alright. Now, we also have another problem. This roof is now inside of these walls. Well, I don't want that. I just want the roof to be on the inside edge here. So I can do this all in 3D. I'm going to click here. Don't be confused by the outside edge of the footing. But then I'm going to click Edit Footprint. And I'm just going to drag these down, and they will actually lock. Or they should lock. They're locking. That one locked the wrong one. They're all locking the wrong one. So yeah, zoom in. It's locking into that foundation wall. There we go. Could have done that 100 different ways. Could have just redrawn it. Could have just hit delete. Lots of different ways. But there, now it's in the inside edge. And there we go. Bam, look at that. Beautiful. Okay. So, some other things. This floor. Curious why it doesn't look like that one. Hold on, let's go and look and investigate this thing. Softwood lumber. It's like the outside edge is taking the bottom thing. It doesn't matter because we're going to side the whole thing anyways, but it does look kind of odd. Alright, anyway. Now, another cool tool inside of the 3D realm is, if you come down here, you have what's called a section box in your extents. It's the last one, section box. And what that does is it puts this huge box around your entire view. And when you click on it, you get all these little anchor points, these control points. And you can move it. My bread maker's making noises. Alright, anyway, you can slide it in, and you can move it around, and you can actually see what it would look like if you were to cut your entire house in half. So you can see all the detail, and this is super useful. So what I like to do when I'm doing this is when I'm working in a house, right down here underneath floor plans and underneath ceiling plans, you have 3D views. So this is the default 3D view. And so what I like to do is duplicate this view. So this is the duplicated view, and I'm going to rename this 3D section. Now, it doesn't like because of a copy. Yeah, you gotta get rid of all those curly brackets. I remember that. There can only be one curly bracket view. Alright, so we got that section. We got 3D and 3D section. If I click on this one now and go back and turn this off, so there's my normal, and I can go back to 3D. So now I have two different 3Ds. I mean, you can do all sorts of different ones. You could have like a section of the kitchen, a section of this room, whatever, that room, yada yada yada, all sorts of fun stuff. You can also do this. So a little more technical, because this is kind of just visual representation in the 3D. If you go to, let's go to the second floor. And let's say you had some built-ins all across this wall, and you want to really look at just this wall on this side. What you can do is go up to View and make what's called a section view, and just click somewhere off to the outside. And I need to flip it because it's gonna point down. So I think if I just do, nope, that's this little handle right here, the flip. So I can flip it up. I can pull down my depth. I can change this. I want the whole house, so think of the arrow as what you're gonna keep. And then I can click off. And then if you come down here in your project browser, a new section comes up called sections or building sections. And there's section 1. And I can click on that, and now I can see the entire house if it were to cut in with all my beautiful elevations that need to be, organized. But you can see it, and here it is. This box around it, here's the section view. You can grab it, you can isolate things, make it bigger, make it smaller, and you can also turn on shading inside of these views as well. So if you want to see like wireframe or hidden frame, or just the hidden lines itself, it's just another tool. Just leave that alone. Alright, so there we go. We got the basic structure of our house. Kind of not digging how unslopey this is, so I'm actually going to click on the roof, and just another tool. You can see, because they all have the same slope, I can change it directly from here without going into the footprint. So I'm just going to do 212. That's much better. Alright. Alright, so our house is coming together.